After this episode, we are halfway through Season 2 of The Rings of Power, and if you haven't fallen asleep yet, you might be thinking the same as me. Nothing has happened so far. But let's take a look at Episode 4 and see if it's any better than the rest of the show. As always, I'll give points for various aspects at the end of the video. The episode starts off in Grey Havens with Galadriel and Elrond. He has been appointed commander of Gil-galad's forces, which is at least lore accurate. I'm a bit confused about the army. Do they already know they're going to fight? It seems a bit confusing to me. Anyway, he mentions a made-up place called Axa Bridge, which we will see in a moment. Along with Galadriel and a group of elves, he sets out for Eregion to spy on them, or warn them, or I don't really know. But look, it's the fake fellowship. Very diverse this time, of course. Anyway, the bridge is destroyed, apparently by Sauron, according to Galadriel. This forces them to turn south into Tyrn Gorthad. Now, if we take a look at the map, it should be quite clear it makes no sense. The hills are to the north, yet they turn south and somehow teleport to the north.
60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
So yeah, it's all made up, as you can guess. Apparently it's already infested with Barrow-wights. This whole detour thing is very much a copy from the Fellowship when they can't cross the Pass of Caradhras and are forced to walk through the mines of Moria. And of course Galadriel knows best, because she's a girl boss. She just wants to clarify he is wrong. So a former commander, unable to follow orders. Interesting. She doesn't remind of the real Galadriel, but she is starting to remind of Saruman, another who refused to serve, thought he knew best, and wanted to control and command. He was even thirsty for war, and later revenge. Yeah, sounds like Galadriel. Anyway, we cut to the east where fake Gandalf and fake Tom Bombadil meet. In the lore it's implied that Gandalf has never met him before until near the end of the Return of the King. But then again, he also clearly says he never went east, and yet here we are. Furthermore, there's no evidence Tom Bombadil ever lived in the east. In fact, what we do know seems to suggest he lived in the Old Forest for a very, very long time, and most likely throughout the Second Age. But Amazon hates Tolkien and the lore, so we can't have that. At least he sings, though more depressed than he is known for. But that's at least something. Fake Gandalf bumbles around, like an idiot, and comes across an evil Huon that traps him inside. Yeah, another steal directly from the books. More will come. Then we cut to fake Sam and fake Frodo in the middle of nowhere. They spot the Easterlings, and then runs into this very diverse Stoor Hobbit called Merrimack. He seems to fall in love with Poppy instantly, God knows why, or how. He then leads them to the home of the Stoors, which is in the middle of the desert. It's almost impressive how they managed to contradict what Tolkien actually wrote every single time. In the last season we were introduced to the Harfoots, a wandering hobbit breed. In the lore they are the ones who stay in one place and build the Smeals, the hobbit holes. So the opposite of the show. And now in this season we see these fake Stoor Hobbits. In the lore, these live by the Anduin and are the only breed of hobbits that aren't afraid of deep water. Smeagol and Deagol are Stoors, by the way. Anyway, in this show, they live in a desert and are nowhere near rivers or water. I guess the last breed, Fellowhides, will also show up and be the worst kind of leaders, unlike the actual lore. Anyway, we meet the leader, a matriarch, which is at least lore accurate. I was a bit confused for a moment if it was even a woman, as she sounds a lot like a man, and well. Anyway, she says Grand Elf. That doesn't sound like Gandalf at all, right? They are clearly not a fan of the Dark Wizard in the East, and so tie up Nori and Poppy along with this dude, for some reason. Then we got to fake Saruman, the Dark Wizard. Yes, I'm quite certain he is just fake Saruman at this point. He says he'll take care of fake Gandalf himself, while the Easterlings will look for the Harfoots. Then we get some more fake Bombadil. Once again they steal direct lines from the Lord of the Rings, and insert in this sad and depressing hate fiction series. He frees Gandalf, just like the real Tom Bombadil frees Merry and Pippin from the old man Willow. Something not in the films, though in the extended cut, Treebeard actually frees them from a Huon as well, so quite similar to the actual lore. As fake Gandalf is taking a bath, he hears the voice of a woman, Goldberry, the wife of Tom Bombadil in the lore. We don't get to see her, and Tom Bombadil pretends he doesn't know what he's talking about. I have a feeling we'll see her in a later episode, but that she will look nothing like in the lore. She might even be more powerful than Tom Bombadil. I at least appreciate Tom Bombadil remaining a sort of mystery, though the setting really removes the magic you kinda get in the books. Here he seems more like a hermit with amnesia. Old Man Ironwood? Really? Really? How original, Amazon. Just as original as your company name. Apparently the goat is called Yarwain, even though that's the name the elves give him in the lore. Though his full name is Yarwain ben Adar, oldest and fatherless. I don't know why he would call his goat oldest, but alright. Given how much respect Amazon has for the lore, it wouldn't surprise me if this is Goldberry and he is married to the goat, turning him into a goat lover. No, I think Goldberry is actually a sort of fairy, sort of like in Peter Pan. Now, a change like that would make Tolkien do The Mountain on you, as he hated deeply when fairies were portrayed like that. He pretty much wrote a whole essay about how people get fairies and fairy stories wrong. Something still going on to this day. Anyway, fake Gandalf wants a branch from the old tree for a staff. Now the staff is an iconic part of Gandalf and is clearly linked to his magical powers to some capacity. The dwarves knew him as Tarkun, which either means grey man or staff man. I think it's pretty clear by this point that he's going to be Gandalf, but perhaps they'll subvert our expectations, though it seems unlikely to me. He wants fake Bombadil to teach him magic, and then Bombadil reveals the Dark Wizard is also an Istar that came to learn magic. Another point that seems to indicate that the Dark Wizard is just fake Saruman. None of this is in the lore, in case anyone thinks that. The other thing is that apparently fake Saruman wants to ally with fake Sauron. Once again, they demonstrate they only have watched the films and are mainly stealing from Peter Jackson. In the books, Saruman wants the One Ring for himself. He does not want to serve or ally Sauron. He wants to rule over Middle-earth, just like him. Anyway, fake Gandalf needs to face them both apparently, so yeah. We then cut back to the fake Fellowship in the Barrow Downs, which is apparently a forest now. Even the tombs look fake and disappointing. There were no Barrow-wights in the Second Age, so they shouldn't be here. Of course they attack the elves, and for some reason use flying chains. At least they look alright and somewhat near to the lore, at least the eyes. They discover they can't harm them, which is nonsense. Then Elrond somehow figures out to use the barrow blades, which are buried with them. It makes no sense at all. In the lore, these barrow blades were forged to harm the Witch King, something Merry actually does, which allows Eowyn to take him out. In the lore it makes sense, the dead are buried with the weapons, a way for them to sort of fight off their enemy, the Witch King, who is the one that actually stirs the dead by sending evil spirits that control their remains. Anyway, with the blades they manage to defeat them, and then we cut to the losers in Pelargir. They're all looking for Theo, and Isildur walks perfectly fine in this episode. I guess a knife in the thigh is nothing. Arondir finds a body torn apart, the locals think it's the Wildmen, and Estrid says she might know where to find them, in an old forest. Yeah, the references seem to never end.
Plant your axe here, Vina Freezer! Take my life!
Arondir figures out she's a wild man. Doesn't sound right. Wild woman? A wild one? A wild person? Anyway, they set out to find Theo again, who is held prisoner atop a tree, along with some Wildmen. Isildur then falls into a swamp. Arondir tries to save him, but is pulled in. Estrid leaves, but then comes back with a huge stick. She tries to help them out, but oh no, it's a made-up monster, not just the swamp. Arondir kills it from the inside, like Disney's Hercules, and says it's a nameless thing, but for the night it will be supper. What a comedian. We then cut to the fake diverse hobbits again. Nori says she reminds her of the power-hungry Black Harfoot from season 1, and then she is led to the cliff with some failed art projects. It's apparently some sort of prophecy about the Hebrews finding the promised land. Sorry, I meant the fake hobbits. Apparently Sadok's ancestor started this journey to find this land, which is why they are a nomadic type of people. This so-called land is called Susat, and it is obviously the Shire. The original Western name for the Shire is Susat, so yeah, there's no doubt. Obviously, this is more cringe fanfiction, And in the real lore, there's no damn prophecy about the hobbits searching for the promised land, flowing with milk and honey. What is this show? Oh yeah, and just to be super nitpicky, it's either the Susa or just Susad. Otherwise you say the Shire. It doesn't make sense. The Tusken Raider Easterlings show up, looking for the Harfoots. They could just murder everyone, especially because they don't have weapons, but instead they'll be back and reveal why they wear masks. Something to do with the Dark Wizard, but nobody cares. We then cut to Galadriel and Elrond talking in the forest. Apparently Nenya guides her. Now, I would be cautious to follow any objects that guide people. It's rarely a good sign. Don't you agree, Gollum? Anyway, we get some more weeping. God, I love this show. Now a bit of foresight, where we get to see Eregion getting attacked. Elrond as a prisoner. Hardly a surprise at this point, but alright. At least Elrond will do all he can to stop Sauron, which is about the only good thing in this damn storyline. And then they hear drums. Drums in the deep. Oh wait, apparently they don't steal every line. We cut back to fake Ithilien or something. Arondir leaves the key next to Estrid and walks away. Not at all awkward. Apparently it's up to Isildur if she's meant to be free or not. More with eyes, as she threatens to kill him. Of course Arondir has prepared for this. Then an Endwise shows up and kicks Estrid into Mount Doom. No, just a rock. But she dies. No, of course she doesn't. It's not like it hurts. Arondir then tries to calm it down in Elvish. Apparently he is now from the Greenwood, even though last episode he said he was from Beleriand. Make up your mind, fake Legolas. The Endwife wants to know if he has ever used an axe against a tree, which he did in Season 1. She then goes into a rage, but an Ent shows up and Arondir somehow calms down the entire situation. I'm not really sure how, but forgiveness takes an age, or 5 seconds. I don't think I'll ever forgive Amazon. They will forever be known as the Dark Lord Company that tried to destroy Tolkien's legacy. I'm sure you'll agree. Anyway, let's talk about Endwives. As always, Amazon gets it all wrong. Last episode, I mentioned they don't even live here, and also said they wouldn't exactly look like Ents. It's hardly a surprise, Amazon doesn't know or care about the lore. First off, Ents and Endwives don't exactly look the same, as Treebeard reveals in The Lord of the Rings. They apparently have red cheeks. So that's one thing. The other is that the Ents love to tend to trees, while the Endwives tends plants and gardens. They were dedicated to Yavanna, while the Ents were dedicated to Oromir. So yeah, there's a lot of differences, and by the Second Age, they don't even live together. So a people very divided, which is also why the Ents could lose them. Anyway, Theo is then freed, along with the other Wildmen, for some reason. I really don't understand why. When they murderers, raiders, and thieves? I don't get it. Anyway, there's some sparks between Estrid and Isildur, just as I feared, which would break the law. Then a betrothed shows up, Hagen. Wait, isn't that the dude from Gladiator? Anyway, he kills the mood, totally. And Isildur walks away. Arondir wants to hunt the orcs, sort of like Aragorn, Legolas and Gimli, by the end of the Fellowship of the Ring. He even says he made a promise, just like Sam does in the actual books. Theo wants to stay behind and keep a promise of his own. This somehow makes him the Lord of Pelargir? What?
Do it! Kill me! Kill me!
It's some of the dumbest writing I've ever seen. God. It makes absolutely no sense. The orcs are marching for Eregion and have finally unlocked fast travel, like every other character in this show. They are spotted by the fake fellowship, and they wonder if they're marching to attack Sauron or to ally with him. Galadriel, as always, is super dramatic about it and tries to sound cool. The orcs shoot after a horse, apparently to eat it. I mean, last episode, they wanted you to feel sorry for them, but now they just kill horses. Anyway, somehow this random loser gets hit by an arrow. They are almost revealed, but then Galadriel breaks the law and heals him with Nenya. She then gives the ring to Elrond, which is also a big no-no lore-wise. But so is the rest of this show. She then goes full girl boss, and basically one girl armies them all, both with fire arrows, exaggerated moves, and a sort of explosion. because that's cool. If you got an IQ like a walk. Then Ada shows up, and she is clearly taken captive. Just like we knew from the articles that basically revealed most of this season, apparently. And that's the episode, so let's jump to the points. Story. So this time we had the fake fellowship going to a Region, even though I don't know why. Maybe it's just me not getting it, but I doubt I'm the only one. Then there's fake Bombadil, fake Gandalf, fake Saruman, fake Frodo, fake Sam, and these fake hobbits. Great stuff. Then we have a bunch of made up characters, except Isildur, in Ithilien fighting swamp monsters and talking to fake Entwives. It was both confusing, annoying, so a lot of stuff, but nothing Tolkien actually wrote, and sadly not something I enjoyed either. So for this episode, I'll give 0.5 out of 10. Lore. As usual, this show is a crime to the lore, and it should honestly have some consequences for Amazon. I at least hope they lose a ton of money, but the estate should really sue them for the damage they do to the IP. For any new people to Middle-earth, this series is a mess and totally confusing. It does nothing good, offers nothing new of value, but only seems to corrupt and make a mockery of what Tolkien created. I could give half a point for all the stuff with Bombadil, but there's honestly so much law-breaking stuff in this episode, I'll have to give -3 out of 10. Throw it into the fire. Visuals. The Barrow-wights look cool, and the landscapes too. I really hate the costumes for the stores, and they seem to be in rags with weird stuff in their hair, just like the Hobbits. The Easterling mask comes back. Tom Bombadil looked kinda depressing compared to his colourful and joyful self. I think the Ents and Entwives looked like a joke, so not very good either. If we talk lore, they don't really hit the target either, as we have discussed. So it's a mixed bag of good, but mainly bad stuff. For this reason we land on 2 out of 10. Dialogue. The dialogue in this episode was slightly better than most, perhaps because many of the lines were stolen. There's still some other nonsense going on here and there, and some cheap jokes. So I land on 3.5 out of 10. Acting. When I watch a film or show, I want to forget I'm actually watching that. Just a bunch of actors playing out a scene. Sadly, that's rarely what happens in this show. I think especially Galadriel's girl boss moment felt like a bunch of actors playing out a soulless scene. Maybe that's just me, but I was just kind of waiting for it to end. I don't like Estrid at all, and Arondir isn't great either. I think the actors for the stores fit perfectly with the Hobbits. Now they can all suck together. So we land on 2 out of 10. Music and sounds. We have more orc marching with numpad and some eerie music at the fake Barrow Downs. More Star Wars kind of sounds, because that somehow fits in the East. I don't know if it's just me, but the music in this show never touches me. It's almost impressive, as almost every track in The Lord of the Rings have a huge impact. Maybe it's just me boiling with rage as I watch this show, but I'm not impressed at all by the music or the sounds. So I land on 3 out of 10. Final score. It's truly impressive how Amazon can contradict the law at every opportunity, and yet it feels like plagiarism. I don't think anyone wants them to just steal direct lines from Tolkien and just copy-paste into their own made-up setting with made-up characters and made-up nonsense. I really thought this season would be better, but it's just as painful to get through as season 1. I'll give this episode 1 out of 10. Maybe I'm too harsh, but the only thing that came close to enjoyable were the Barrow-wights, and they are not even supposed to be there. Let me know your thoughts down below. What did you like and what did you hate? As always, special thanks to all the patrons and members that support the channel. Also check out my previous reviews if you haven't watched them already. Farewell till next time.